Hi everyone, I'm back to share my first design team project for AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy for the month of June. And I will leave links to her Etsy shop, her Facebook group, and all the designers that are currently making projects with all the beautiful goodies from her shop. And you'll have to just go over and have a look in her shop and see what she has. She's always putting in new items, and some items sell out really quickly and then you have to wait for restock. So go over and have a look because she's got some beautiful things for you to buy and craft with and incorporate in with goodies that you already have. So what I've made for my first design team project for June is I have purchased some of these small little canvas bags from Michael's, and I have decorated them up with all her beautiful laces. So I've made these little gift bags. These little bags are 5 inches by 3 inches, so they would hold quite a few little goodies in there, or a gift card and a little note. I think that they would be quite useful. I think anyone would be really thrilled to get a gift in a pretty bag like this. I'll go through each of the bags separately and tell you the trims and how I've used them. Trims on this one that you can see, this was from my design team package for June, and this is that floral dangle trim. And I've cut, like I said, I cut one of the florals off the trim and 2 of the little dangles that came down. That trim is sold like this, and you can use it just like that on a project, or you can cut off individual pieces, even individual dangles if you want to. So it's quite a versatile trim. And I used, was another trim that was in my design team package, and I cut them individually and just tucked them in here along the bottom of the corner of the bag here. This trim is still in the shop. This was in my design team package last month, I believe. And this is her braided trim, and it is such a pretty trim. And I've used it on other projects, and I still had a little bit left in my stash, so I wanted to use that on here. I thought that looked really pretty. And then I just added beaded butterflies. The tutorial for the beaded butterflies, link it below in the description box if you haven't seen it and want to see how I make those. And then I added the flat back pearls, and I added the little flat back blings in the center there. And then on the back, I used the braid trim again at the top. And if you careful how you put it in and you don't glue the strings, then they close just fine. And I made a pocket on the back of here with the fabric that I had still left over from last month's, I think, design team project. She still has this in the shop. It's about, I don't know, 6 inches wide and has this trim on it. And it's really nice to use for pockets. I've used it on a few projects. And so I cut a piece to fit on here and made an extra little pocket on the back of this one. So I've increased the capacity of this little bag by adding another little spot as well. So you could put your goodies or your gift card in here, and then you could stick I'll make a small card and stick it in the back of there if you were giving someone a little gift. And then I used the purple floral trim again, embroidered trim on the top of the pocket, and that gives it more strength. And again, added the little gold blings in the center. It has a bit of a gold thread around the edge, so I like and it's kind of had gold stitching in the middle anyway, but I wanted to add those little blings. And then I created a butterfly in the bottom corner here using the flower from the top of that trim. Any 5-petal flower works well to make into a butterfly, and you just choose one of the petals that you want to remove, and then you're left with the 4, and there they are there. And then I just spread them apart a little bit when I glued it down so that it looked more like the top and bottom wings of a butterfly. And then I embellished it. I added a little bit of purple crochet cotton, and then a little center with some pearls and some bling mesh, and then a little pearl, flat back pearl for the head, and some little stamens for the antennae. I just thought that was a cute little addition and just shows you another idea that you can do with when you're cutting up the laces to make things with them. So that's the first little one. The second one I did in pinks and white, and the bag of course is cream, so you get this is more of a shabby chic, I guess, kind of style on this one. And again, this is the peacock trim, double peacock trim that Kim had in the shop, and I think there might still be some there. And I had that still some left over in my stash, and it looked so pretty. What I did was I cut the top piece of that double trim away and put these on separately. So I put 4 at the bottom, 3 in the middle, and then 4 at the top here. Again, just cutting it up and rearranging the dangles so that they fit on the bag. And then I added some flat back pearls. This is a little pink daisy trim that I had left over from her shop from last month, and it is a really cute trim to cut up. And I added that as an accent in the center of that bit of the peacock trim. And then I added these little paper flowers at the bottom here from my stash. And then here's another one of my beaded butterflies added on here. And then at the back, I used the fat quarter Clooney lace that I had in my stash from Kim's shop. And that was in my last month's design team package, but I had a little bit left. And so that's one thing nice about these little bags is that you can use up your scraps too to decorate them. And then this is another trim from Kim's shop that I had in my design team package last month. And I cut it up into little bits and sort of had them spray out from the collection of these little paper flowers on the back, just to add a little accent. And this is a trim sold by the yard, but it's nice because you can cut up little pieces like that and tuck them in behind things, so you don't have to just use it. You can take longer to use it up, which is great. And again, the bag opens really easily. Even though it's got decoration on it, it's not caught. It doesn't catch the strings and affect the closure. And oh, I forgot to show on the back side of this one, I also made a little dangle. I'll just open it a little bit, you can see it better. I used one of the peacock little dangles, and then I just put a string of beads and a little pink crystal butterfly hanging from the bottom of that. So on this side that hangs down like that. And just another little accent. And I didn't connect it to the strings because they need to be able to flow freely in and out. So I just attached it right below the string there. So that's the second one. The third one, I also added one of my flower fairies onto this one. Kim has flowers in her shop now, and these are the satin and organza ones. And these are sort of in a pinky mocha color, and I sort of did this bag all in kind of the creams, beiges, and whites. And these flowers lend themselves so well to these little fairies. And again, there is a tutorial on how I make them on my channel, and I can link that below. And this one, I used a little piece of that material that's in her shop, and I just cut a V to make her little dress. So you can see the little bits of it there and through here. And I used the flat Clooney lace to make her wings. And then the flowers make sort of the bottom of her skirt, bottom of her body. And then just some little acrylic pieces from my stash, a pearl bead for her head. And then I used some little leaves that, which lace was that from? On this lace, which I still have a tiny little bit, and I'm chopping it up in my stash, also from Kim's shop. There are these tiny little leaves across the top here between the flowers. And so I cut those little leaves off to make sort of a little crown piece of flowers on top her head. With my flower fairies, I like to put flowers on top their head, so this has those little leaves and then some little tiny acrylic flowers that I had in my stash. Kim does have some little tiny acrylic or clay flowers in the shop, I believe, still. So you could get anything little like that, works really well on top their head. And then I just put this on a clip and I clipped it on the top of that bag. I did finish the back of her off as well with a little floral piece that was also part of that dangle that I cut the leaves off of. In between the dangles, each dangle, there's a little flower at the top, and then there's those leaves. So I've used the dangles for other things too. So I used the little flower that was there and added that onto her back, and then another little piece of a trim from Kim's shop just to finish her off. I like things to be finished both front and back. And then the little bag itself, I used this trim that was in my design team package for this month. It's a very pretty cotton trim, and I added some flat back pearls in the center of the little flowers. This is a trim that Kim has in the shop that was from last month. I had a little piece left, so I used that on the front of the bag here, and again added some flat back pearls. And then on the back, I made a pocket again with a piece of that material, and then I put a little bit of trim across the top there and a little bit of pearl string. And then this is the other flowers that was in my design team package, and these are also in her shop, and she has them in several colors, which I think I list all the colors when I talk about it in my design team package, and you can go back and get more details on these items if you like, or just go straight to the shop and have a look. But very pretty with pearl stamens coming out, and bling and pearls in the center, and then they are a bit of organza in the middle, and then it almost feels like paper, but I think it's a fabric that's the other layer. Really pretty though. And I just thought that looked really pretty on there, a little accent. Fourth one, I used the beautiful dangle trim that was in my design team package for this month, and this is currently in the shop, and it's absolutely gorgeous. But I love how the tan or the beige of the bag shows through on this one. I think it looks really pretty. And I added little pieces of that trim that I also had in my design team package that's so popular and has a bit of purple and mauve in it. A few of my own flat back pearls. I made a little flower fairy out of a crystal drop bead. I used, you'll recognize this maybe as part of the dangle. So that, going back to this piece that I'm chopping up, I used 4 pieces of the dangle to make her wings. And then again, she's just a little pearl bead for a head and a little green clay flower in her hair, or on her head. I guess she doesn't really have hair. And then I attached one of my little beaded butterflies onto the string of this one. And then this one, when you turn it over, has again the fat quarter of Cluny, a piece of that Cluny lace on the back, and a little piece of one of the dangle pieces from this lace. This is it here. I had one little extra piece left when I cut here, so I didn't want to waste it. So I put it on the back here and then put a couple more pieces of that other trim there too as well. And the last one, I did more in the purples and whites, or lilac and white and cream. And I did another little flower fairy on this one. And this, I took the gathered tulle trim, which is this one, and I just took the stitch out of the top here, and it's really easy to do. You just put your little tiny scissors under here and you can clip this, and once you get it going, you can pull it and take out whatever length you want. So it was flat, not gathered anymore. And then I used it to cover the bag. So there is a seam right down the center here, and where I overlapped it when I glued it down, the purple tulle. And then when I applied these flowers, this one has the dangle attached to it, and I positioned it so that it pretty much covered that seam, unless you really know it's there, really notice it. And so there was several dangles I cut off that were all attached to this flower, and then this flower I just cut separately and I stuck it up here. But to the eye, it almost appears that some of these dangles are coming from this one as well. And then this is that beautiful fringe and sparkly trim that was in my design team package, and I used a piece of that along the bottom of the bag. And then I used the mauve lilac-y colored flowers that are from her shop as the bottom or skirt of the fairy. This was a trim she had in the shop, and I've been hoarding it because I really like this trim. I'm hoping she can get it back in again. It's a netting with the little dots on it, and it's such a versatile trim. I really like it, and I love using it. It has a bit of a stitch on the edge as well, and it does make really pretty fairy wings, but it also looks really nice around the edge of doilies when you're making doily books and that. This one I've used one of those long cone bead caps, and then added a bit of some of her sparkly chain that she has in the shop. I think it's a 2 millimeter, and I just put a strip of it down the center, and it connects well in with the little rondelles I had in my stash, and then of course a little pearl bead again for the head, and then a cluster of little flowers on top of her head. So that's how I created her. But I just love these flowers from Kim's shop. They just lend themselves so perfectly to the skirt of the fairy, and they're so pretty. And they're about an inch across, these little flowers. So 3 of them clustered together is just perfect. And then on the back side of that one, I again used that piece of a little bit of that Cluny lace that I had left, and then I used one of the flowers from that dangle trim with one of my flat back pearls in it. And again, the flowers bend nicely around when you gather it up, and it turned out really cute. On the back of the fairy, I did put one of the little flowers and one of the little leaves from this dangle trim to finish her off as well. There are my little altered bags and flower fairies. And again, go over and check out the other designers for AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy. Check out her shop, pick up some goodies for yourself, and check out the other videos from the designers and get more inspiration and have some fun. Have a great day, everybody. Bye for now.